How's it going, guys?
Hey, you've had a lot of great field goal kicks this season for UCF, but how did it feel to know that you took the game-winning kick?
I mean, I'm just happy to send the seniors out, on a high note, on a win here, closing out at home, and get ready for, we have one more opportunity, so hopefully, go out in Provo, shock a few people, and get bowl eligible.
When you look at that play, as UCF's getting closer to setting up maybe for a possible field goal, what's going through your mind? I mean, you've been through that situation before, I'm sure, high school and college a little before, but what kind of goes through your mind when you're getting set for something like that?
I mean, I was just ready all game. I actually told D-Law in the third quarter when we were down 7, I said, I'm hitting a game winner today, I feel it. So, just staying locked in and ready for that moment. We just years of training and, good week of practice, so just getting after it and staying locked in the whole game.
No way you've had multiple 50-yard kicks this year, plus just being truly consistent for this night's offense. I mean, now that you add that game winner, what does that do for your resume? Now that, can anybody say anything to you now?
I mean, yeah, obviously, I think I've had a pretty good year. Obviously, I don't want those 2 misses that I'd have, but I've had a pretty good year. I'm very thankful. The O-line has done a great job blocking for me. Dalton's been money all year. Anthony's done a great job holding all year. So realistically, at the end of the day, I can only be as good as them. So they've been money. So a shout out to them as well.
When you look back at your time as a Knight, what will you most remember?
Just the team and the culture that we've started building here. I think that's important to, note. And the guys in the locker room, I'm so close with all those guys now, and I've been here for only 7 months, I think. So I'm gonna have relationships for the rest of my life here, and it's been great just getting to know everyone, coming together as a team. I think that you can see that on the field, we continue to fight and we fight for each other. So that's been great.
How important is it to you to know that you're part of that culture building?
It's great, for me, as a transfer, coming in here, as an older guy, you just want to set a good example for the younger guys, and you want to leave. An old coach of mine always used to say, you want to leave the program better than you found it. So I think that's a big thing for me, and just mentoring the younger guys and teaching them and helping them out with whatever they need and showing them how to do the things right. So I think that's been great.
Considering the season you've had this season, stuff you've talked about before, what did it mean to you to gain the attention of the Lou Groza Award? You had word on the watches to begin with, and you got named a semifinalist recently. Just what did that mean to you to see that?
Yeah, it's been great. At the end of the day, it's just a list, but I've been working for many, many years for that, it feels like. So it's just accumulation of hard work that I think finally is, I've been recognized for some of that. So it's been great. At the end of the day, like I said, shout out to Anthony and the O-line and Dalton, because they put me in that position as well. So it's just been awesome.
Looking forward real quick, I know you're constantly kicking in the cold. Has Dalton given you any pointers as far as kicking in altitude, considering you're being 4,500 feet above sea level next week in Provo?
I don't think I need any pointers from Dalton, but in regards to kicking altitude, I actually train in Denver every now and again. That's where my coach is out of. So, and then in Lubbock, I didn't know there was a little bit of elevation over there, so it was fun. Didn't get an opportunity like we'd like, but kicking in pregame and stuff, the ball was flying. So I'm ready. If we get put up in a position to do the same thing again next week, I'll be ready.
No kicks for you in the first half, but you had the 2 PATs in the second half. Just kind of what's going through your mind, and what's your process to stay loose in a situation like that late game when you may not have been as involved as usual? Yeah, just go about my same routine that I always have. Pre-games, warming up and stretching, and then throughout the game, getting a few kicks in the net here and there and stretching out and, just chilling. You need to just stay locked in. And as a kicker, I've always said this, you can't really ride the emotional roller coaster. You have to stay steady. So that's what I try to do. And, at the end of the day, we got in a position and it was great to execute.
You talk about building the culture. In the last couple of years, the kicking game has largely struggled, and then you've brought some consistency to that. How do you feel that will help build for the future after you're gone?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think I'm the only senior in the specialist room leaving. So you're going to have Dalton and Anthony, who have shown this year that they can do a hell of a job. So going into next year, whether that be Noah, who's been great at practice and has really learned from me, or whether they bring someone in, it's attractive to have an operation that has been successful in the past. So that's one big thing. And then, Coach Alomar being here is huge. That was a big reason why I came here. His coaching knowledge and all the connections that he has in regards to my future goals So that's a big part of building the culture in the specialist room going up forward.
If you want, kind of talking about building the culture, all 6 of you came in at the same time. Has that helped kind of build a brotherhood of you all finding out about UCF?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the specialist room is really close. We hang out all the time off the field. We're always joking around, but when it's time to get to work, we get to work. And, it's good to have that balance of having fun and, being close and then locking in when you need to. But, it kind of helps that we can kind of set that culture and we can say, like, this is what we do. So having those guys and coming in together with them, like we set, we all work hard. So we kind of set that from the beginning, and it's been great to work with them.
Aside from being the guy that kicked the game winner, as a player, what's the locker room like, the celebration like after a game like that and finally winning a close one?
Yeah, it's great. Everyone was happy. At the end of the day, like I said before, like sending the seniors out with a win, last home game, it's been great. So, the locker room was all happy. We were hype. At the end of the day, a win is a win, so it's hard to come by in the Big 12. So.
Did you notice the shirtless section?
Yeah, shout out to them. I think that's when we started rallying. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a big section up there, which was it's been going around in college football, but it was fun to see tonight.
All right, good stuff. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.